Hi everyone, it's Heidi from Flutterby, heidi.wordpress.com, back again here with another Sunday scoring, and this time it's a masculine card, and this is a triangle trifold card, which as you can see starts out as a 4-inch square card but opens up to this lovely sort of panoramic view. And sometimes people are a little bit worried about fancy folds because they're not quite sure whether they'll stand up. This one actually is one that will, because literally you can just stand it up like so afterwards. You can angle it if you wanted to, but actually it will just open up and stand on a mantelpiece and would look rather attractive there as well. So a bit of a masculine card here, and so what I'm going to use is recreate that same card for you, and but just to show you how different it can look in other colours, this is one I prepared previously to show some fellow demonstrators some fancy folds, and this is using sort of flowering flourishes and the flower shop punches. Again, the Brights DSP, and again that just folds up, and on the back here I've actually used another piece of DSP as well, but again that can just stand up just a little bit like so, and you've got another card there. But that one's obviously is quite different, and it's sort of quite a floral, sort of pretty card. But just shows you how different something can look just using some different colours and different stamps. But the basic fold is exactly the same. So to start off with, using slightly larger card today, using the 12 by 12 inch card, and you're going to cut a piece of card that is 4 inches by 12 inches. So off your 12 by 12, you're literally just going to cut a single strip of 4 inches. This of course does mean that you can get 3 cards out of one sheet of 12 by 12, which is pretty good value. So when you've got your card, all you need to do is score at 4 inches and also at 8 inches. And then you're going to score the diagonals. And all you're going to do there is, on this right hand one, line up from the middle out to the outer corner and score. And from the bottom in the middle to the top left, you're going to do exactly the same and score. And that is all the cutting and all the scoring you're going to need to do for the moment. So you've got your basic card there, and the next thing to do obviously is to fold and burnish. Now I'm folding on the crease away from me, but then so I can fold back in, and that's because when you actually score, you're stretching the fibres of the card slightly. So to avoid it sort of cracking and make sure it folds properly, go where you've scored it, then come back in, and then these two are scored like so. So there's your basic scoring done. You then need some DSP, and these are 3 3/3 of an inch by 3 3/4 of an inch. And so all I've done is I've used the same as I did on the red card, but actually the reverse of the DSP. So on the one side it's got lovely words to use, and on the other side it's got these great dots. I often use very vanilla with Old Olive, as I rather like that kind of combination. But in this instance, because the dots or the writing are actually in white, it makes sense to use the white as the contrast here. So 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, single piece in the middle. Then another 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 panel for the sides. Just cut on the diagonal again, just as we did with the scoring. Just line it up on your trimmer. So there's your basic card. We're now going to stamp the centre panel, and so I've got a piece that is 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches of the Whisper White, and as I said, I'm using the Traveller stamp set here. So there's a ship, some lovely travel images, so somebody who's off on their travels, it is great. And I'm using, to do tone on tone, I'm going to use the Old Olive stamp set as well. So I'm coming in and just stamping in the bottom corner here with my train image, and then the sentiment, get it quickly before it goes, is actually a hostess set. So this is the Happy Birthday Everyone, a really useful set. You've got this lovely big happy birthday, and then you've got various sentiments that go with it as well. So that's the stamp set I'm using. With some of these bigger stamps, so people get a little bit nervous sometimes, don't always get a good image. I put the stamp down flat and then take the ink pad to the stamp, and that way you're less likely to get any little bits appearing on the other side. I'm just going to line that up and hopefully get this reasonably square. Usually there we go, there's happy birthday. So that's our centre panel, so just allow that to dry very slightly, and then I would usually raise this up on dimensionals, but because it's a card that we want to fold sort of fairly flat, I'm just keeping it flat for the moment. But if you were giving it to somebody and you weren't going to post, then you could easily put that up on dimensionals just to give it, I like that little bit of lift. Then in order to decorate it, I've used an old technique here really. First of all, I've just stamped some images and then I'm going to punch them out. And then I've used the spotlight technique on this one here, which is where you punch another sort of circle or shape and just accent slightly some of it. And I just like that sort of offset little bit, and it just gives it a little bit more dimension. So we're going to do that. So stamp our images first. So I'll use the same ones again. So I'm just going to stamp the camera in the bottom corner here. There's the globe. And then come in with the train again. And so we're not going to use all of the train, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. So those are my three main images. And then because I'm going to use the spotlight technique, I'm just going to stamp on a smaller scrap over here the bits that I want to accent, which you can't see at all because I've just stamped off screen, so apologies, I have just stamped 3 images. I got disturbed when I was doing the first recording, and I obviously moved my camera when I came back up to start again. So then I'm going to take the 1.5 inch circle punch and just come in and line up the bit of the image that you want and punch that out. With this globe, I just do that, and then with the train, I'd like to get a little bit of the smoke in, so that bottom bit that we're going to accent is down at the bottom. And then I'm using the 3/4 inch punch to come in and punch that accent for the front. Okay. So that's the punching done. Now on my original one, you'll notice that I actually have done some stamping on these panels here, and sometimes when you're making a card, you've got an idea in your head, and when it comes out you think, it needs a little bit more, and you think, oh, I can't do that now because my DSP is in the way. Well, fear not, the good old post-it note is fantastic for this. All you need to do is literally grab yourself a couple of post-it notes and line those up along the creases, so the area that you don't want stamped on. And when you put those in place, you can then get your stamp and quite happily you can come in and stamp and reuse it. You don't need to use a fresh one every time. Just reposition. Obviously you can get larger post-it notes. I tend to use this size quite a bit. As it happens, this one was from a swap I received from a demo. So there you go, that's the one side done. And then just repeat that in exactly the same way on the other side. Again, just line up those post-it notes on the edge. You don't get quite such a perfect image on the side always. It can be because you've obviously got a slight lip here, but most of the time it works very well. And then whenever I'm sort of doing a bit of a collage background, I tend to stamp off the edge slightly and change the angle of those as well. And there's a bit of a gap there, so all I'm going to do is just come in on the edge. So there you go, there's the card base. So all that's left to do now is decorate it with the punches that we've just done. So here are 2 of our images. I seem to have lost the third one. So we'll just have to there we go, underneath. So all you need to do now is punch some old olive circles, and this is what I'm using, the 1 3/4 inch punch here, which is slightly larger than I sometimes use. I quite liked the effect of having a slightly bigger border around. So just punch 3 circles. And then quite simply you're going to layer those up, and in this instance just using a little bit of fuse on the back there, and then I'm going to use a dimensional on each of them to actually attach them to the front of the card. And this is where I'm going to come in with my dimensionals and just lift up very slightly losing my words. Lift up very slightly so that you can actually position these where you want them to. So the easiest way to do this is to use some dimensionals. If you really need it to stay very flat, then it's quite easy to use something that's much flatter. So just to use some tape, and so pop a dimensional on the back of each of these, and what I'm going to do is actually position them slightly in the corner so that when it folds up they actually overlap on the front. So if you can see that one there, all I'm going to do is pop that dimensional on the back in the corner, so when I come in I can pop that just about like so. I'm going to use another dimensional just on the back of the globe as well. And position that one about there. And then the final one, the camera, I'm going to put the dimensional in the bottom left hand corner, so that that's going to pop over here as well. So as it folds, hopefully those, there you go, should all overlap. Okay, and then all that remains is just to pop on. That was my punch hitting the floor, not a recommended technique. So pop a dimension on the back here, and then if you bring it in and just line it up slightly. Not always easy to do on camera because it's better if you can do it from the top. And there we go. And there you go. Here's your triangle trifold card, masculine, that will also stand up. I hope you've enjoyed that. A little bit of fumbling, a little bit of noise in the background, but I hope you've enjoyed it all the same. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.